You do On the Contrary.
Yes, I do On the Contrary.
And you have a bunch of other podcasts too.
Yes, I have another one called Business of Pleasure.
Business of Pleasure.
That one is more focused on pleasure, intimacy, wellness. It's more of for my cleaner, less raunchy hoes.
Okay.
But On the Contrary, is wild as hell. And then I'm launching a new one that's going to be dropping like within the next, I don't know, couple of weeks, and called Unconsciously Competent with Tahoe.
Unconsciously Competent. Is it about sex too?
It's about everything.
Really?
It's about finding a whole bunch of stuff that you're at square one with, and we're going to work to like not be ignorant at it. So it'll be topics. Some of the topics will be stuff we know. It might be sex, but some of the topics will be stuff we don't know anything about. We'll bring people on to kind of like give us the game on whatever industry or whatever it is. So we're not going to close it off to anything.
Okay.
Because I'm like a jack of many trades. So I don't want to box myself.
Yeah.
And On the Contrary brings one side. Business of Pleasure brings another. This one is like everything.
Yeah, because I've seen you on the Contrary with Mr. Organic.
Yeah,
and we've been friends for a long time. Well, going on like 2 years now. Mm-hmm. And he came on my podcast and then kind of like took off podcasting. And then I saw him go on a podcast with you and Raleigh, and I see a whole different side of you there. And then I saw some clips from your other podcasts, and I saw it's a whole different person. I'm like, who is this girl? And then I started following you and stuff, and I started watching your stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, like you seem like a really good mom, first of all.
I work hard at that part, even though I'm going to be honest, like yesterday was one of those days.
Yeah.
Yesterday was one of those days where I was like FTK. It was an FTK kind of day. I had to like, listen, I'm going to give you guys food. I'm going to make sure you guys have things to keep yourselves entertained. Anything that keeps you out of my face, it was one of those days. So yeah, I'm a good mom, but I'm only a good mom because I'm real clear with my boundaries with my kids. I don't really play with them with that.
Yeah. Is it easier to have two kids because they could play with each other?
It does help. But to be honest, I have it easier. When one of them is not home, it's always quieter.
Really? Because my son is like so... Like, Mom, he's 4. He's going to be 5. Age. But he's just like wants me to be with him
every
24/7. Like, yep. I'll be in the fucking bathroom taking a shit.
And he wants to be right there.
He pulls the chair this morning. Yeah, he comes in the bathroom. I'm like, Mommy's in the bathroom. You got to go. No, he pulls the little stool. The little stool. He puts it and he sits on it. And has his hands on my knees. And I'm just like, yo, get the fuck out. And then he starts to cry.
At 4.
He's 4.
So he's already at that age, and the questions are going to be like nonstop from beginning to. They want to know, why is this gray? Why is that black?
Oh my God.
At least my son comes to me and asks me things like, why is my penis so long? So you got it easy.
No, my son's going to have a long penis too. He already has a long. My son's black too.
You can tell that you could tell. I think, and this is like going to be such an unpopular opinion statement.
I know.
But like all mothers want to know at a certain point that their son is going to be good, right? But after you find out like, oh, he's going to be good, you don't ever want to know again. Like once they reach a certain age, you never want to see their penis again.
This is a fucked up conversation. My son's father is going to kill me. And I don't want to even, but because you know how women see other kids, and I've seen other kids.
Right.
And then I've seen my kids.
So and
I'm just like, oh, okay.
It's not that you do it in a sexualized way.
Right.
It's like, that's first of all, it's your child. But like you said, we sometimes like if, other kids are around, I might change someone else's diaper or whatever.
Right.
It's not anything in that way. But it's like, yeah, you want to know you're going to have grandkids one day, maybe, if you want them.
I don't want grandkids.
You don't?
I don't want any more kids. After this? I don't want grandkids. I don't want to look at a kid. I'm cool. Like, I'm cool. I'm not the person to babysit.
To babysit?
No.
Oh, is that what you feel like it's going to be?
No, I'm just saying I would, if my son had kids, I would babysit them because my mom is like one of those fucked up grandmothers and I don't want to be that.
You don't want to be that.
So I'll babysit.
But you're hoping that you don't.
But I'm saying like I'm not the well, I don't know. Do people still babysit other people's kids anymore?
I think
like how
depends.
Back in the day it was, because
I mean my family does, but everybody's family is different. I don't think everybody has that.
Yeah,
I think most people have to pay for the tribe.
Oh yeah, because it's a blessing to have that. If you have a good mother and like grandparents and family that really helps with your kids, like a village, you should fucking buy them good Christmas presents, good rich. Birthday fucking presents. Like you should really take care of those people. Because a nanny or a babysitter can run you $25 to $35 a fucking hour.
Yes. And if people don't realize that when it comes to like when people think about rich, I'm like, I'm rich. Like, not just because I like, oh, maybe I earn well, because I do well. But no, I'm rich because like I have shit that most people have to pay for, that if I had to pay for,
help,
I'd be
right?
broke. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
just
expensive.
paying for childcare alone.
It's crazy.
It's cut
crazy.
Yeah. No. But yeah, that's a pretty interesting life over here.
Yeah. And you have 2 kids. How old are your kids?
So one is 5 and the other just turned 14 this week.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So it's a big...
There's a big age gap. Well, technically, my first child was my brother, if you want to get technical, because I raised him from, like, I was legally responsible.
Yeah, I heard you say that.
Yeah, so they're all a decade apart, if I look at it like that. Like, he's going to be 25 this year. One just married 14. The other one just turned 5. So, like, 9 to 10 years is a gap. It has pros and cons because, like, that means I only have one kid who's extremely needy. Whereas when people have kids that are close in age, like, fucking 3 and 5,
yeah,
you have 2 kids who are going to want a lot out of you. I don't have that problem.
My sister has 3, 5, and 7.
Yeah, they're close. And it's like, it's pros and cons. To each his own. If that's what,
Yeah.
I didn't have my kids spaced apart. Like my 2 sons that I have given birth to, I didn't have them spaced apart on purpose. But like after I saw what motherhood was going to require me the first time, I really didn't want to do it again until I had certain situations. Like, I'm a different mother for the youngest than I am for the oldest. Not that I wasn't good for the other one, but
right.
I have way more means.
Okay.
To like offer things
Got
that,
it.
So one of them has a completely different experience in what they get versus the other one who appreciates like very little. The other one wants everything.
Yeah, I saw a therapist on a clip. He said every sibling has a different parent. Like they experience a whole different.
No kid gets the same mom.
Right.
I don't care. Like technically, raising my brother made me different also from my son. But my middle, and I say my middle because my brother, again, my oldest, my firstborn son, he has autism. So he does have a different set of needs that comes with him. So having a child with that additional component, you're not in a rush to add more responsibility to the plate when you're trying to figure that shit out first.
So and it's so hard.
Yeah.
And I feel like people don't even realize like what the parents have to go through raising kids with autism. Like there's so many kids have autism now too, but it's just like even just like the spectrum, right? There's some that are nonverbal. Is yours verbal?
He's technically classified as nonverbal, but he's not fully nonverbal. But he's not conversational. So if I'm like, hey baby, how was your day? He's not going to answer that question like verbally all the time. But if he wants something to eat, he'll say, I want a cheeseburger or I want steak and eggs or, so he can request the stuff he wants. But
he won't start a conversation.
But he's not going to have a back and forth, right? Let's talk about, why, flowers are yellow and green. He's not going to have that conversation. He only talks when necessary, which honestly, I kind of envy.
Okay.
Kind of envy it.
Yeah.
Because,
But I'm sure it's hard for you because he can't tell you stuff. You don't know who to trust to be around him because he can't say, oh, this person did this to me or something like that.
Right. But so yes and no, because I don't have the paranoia to a degree. Like I'm going to be cautious as any parent would be with their kid. But no, he doesn't always use words. But because he doesn't always use words, I'm a master at reading communication that's not verbal. So I can tell body language and I can tell, even not just with him, other people. But on the flip side of it, even though that part can be a little challenging, sometimes if something's going on with him and he can't tell me why he's mad or what's pissing him off and I have to like figure it out, that can be a little annoying at times. But as far as like people doing things to him, he's not the kind of kid to sit around and let someone do something. Like if you try to hurt him, he's going to defend himself and he won't let you touch his penis. So he won't like,
oh my God.
I don't play that. But it took a lot of time. It took a lot of time to help him understand, like, this is a no-fly zone for other people. So, if someone goes for it, he's going to be like, don't touch. Like,
really?
He brings his villain voice out.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah, but it has its ups and downs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. When did you become a sex therapist or an expert? Is it an expert, a therapist?
Sexologist.
What is that?
Clinical sexologist. So, a clinical sexologist is someone who, like, my specialty area is sex. Let me give background. Like, I'm technically went to school for business and psychology. So I have both of those in my background. But sexology focuses obviously on the topic of sex, but not just like the pretty sides, both sides. So
did you go to school for?
You have to get
a class?
Yeah. Well, I'm a board certified clinical sexologist. So
what
there's
does
a
that
certain
mean?
level of criteria. I have to go through a course program. I have to complete it. I have to, just like any other thing where you're being tested, final exams, all those type of things. Yeah, I had to go through all of it.
Wow.
Because anyone can call themselves a sex expert, but
Okay.
the clinical part requires learning. If you're dealing with like we're talking about hormones, we're talking about people having different issues, ED, menopause, all that stuff. That stuff overlaps into my work. So yeah, you got to study some stuff.
So you're like a legit, like, people book you for sessions?
Mm-hmm.
And how does that, what does that look like?
It's different. No problem, baby. Want me to bring it closer?
Blocking way too much of your face.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna do this. Sorry.
No, you good. You good. I appreciate you.
Yep. Okay.
Oh, that feels more natural too. So when a person books me, it depends on whether they're single, they're a couple, or whatever. Sometimes it's like outside of the rainbow of what's normal. So that matters. But they initially would start off with doing a consult. I'll get a little bit of a brief history because there's certain things I have to know. I have to know if there's past trauma. I have to know if there's medical conditions. I have to know if there's certain things that can make your circumstance like unique. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it's like, oh, my marriage needs some spice, or my wife just had cancer, or, he's going through midlife crisis and he's having erectile dysfunction. It can be a multitude of things, or it could be, I just want to learn how to slob a knob.
So wait, you take insurance?
I don't take insurance.
Okay.
I only take out-of-pocket payments or whatever the case is. Because technically it's one of those, it's like, it's optional. You don't have to
if someone has cancer or whatever, wouldn't that just be kind of like couples therapy?
So
or marriage
where
counseling?
where the line kind of can draw is that I often have to, when it comes to like cancer treatment, for example, it's usually while the person's receiving treatment, they have a team of medical professionals who's already dealing with one element of it. I deal specifically with how that's interfering with their intimacy. So like if your doctor says you're not able to have penetration, because some people who are getting chemo and stuff can't have penetrative sex because it can like introduce them to more bacterias and things, and they're already, basically their body is already fighting. So you don't need to give it anything more to fight. So if the doctor says, hey, you can't penetrative sex, imagine if a person's on chemo for a couple of months, they have a whole husband or, whatever the case is, and now that's off the table. So I might step in to help them find like other ways they can still like enjoy stuff throughout the process, or like what are the alternates, or how can we still make sure that your sex life doesn't go like to hell because you're going through something else. So I don't usually work with people who are dealing with medical conditions that aren't also working with a doctor or a specialist who deals with that condition.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I need a sexologist.
What you trying to learn?
I don't want to learn anything. I just don't like sex anymore.
Why?
Is that normal?
It can be. Depends on, you have to give me when did you wake up and was like, yeah, I'm good on this? Like when
can I? So, all right. So, you know how like some people get excited of a big dick?
Yeah.
Like women want big dicks.
Mm-hmm. Some of them do. Yeah.
Right. Or maybe that just sounds like a good idea.
No one wants a little dick, so we'll always take a bigger dick over a smaller
Right.
dick.
But when you get a big dick for a long period of, when you're dating a big dick, it might, like, when you eat too much of something, you don't like it anymore.
Okay, so you feel like because you've had to deal with it for so long, you no longer get excited about it.
So, like, first of all, so, like, the cons of being with someone with a huge dick, right? Like, imagine now going to a guy with a regular size dick. Like, it's just. So,
is it that you're not excited about sex, or you haven't had anybody who compares, so you're not excited about
No,
them?
I don't even think, I'm not going to. I'm not even going to say having a big dick makes you necessarily a great partner.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
But specifically to like not having an excitement around sex, right? Is because the reason why I'm asking this question is because sex is never the problem, right?
Right.
Like people come to me and say they have problems with sex. Sex is never the problem. It's usually something else that's making you not want it. So it sounds like your something else is, I've been fucking this big dick guy for X, Y, and Z time. One, not only am I not even excited because I'm used to it, but now if somebody else comes on.
It's just so much. It's just. That was so much work.
Okay.
Like dealing with that.
Are you still with?
No, I'm not. I'm not. But he watches my stuff, so I just try to be careful what I say.
Big
So
dick
yeah,
got you a little terrified still. So wait, so you're saying like, okay, now putting him to the side, going forward, the next person you encountered didn't measure up size-wise?
no, they did.
Okay.
So the next person I encountered also had a big dick.
Okay.
But that was just like circumstantial. It's not that but I'm just like scared of I'm just scared of big dicks.
What
now.
would be your perfect mark? Like if you could say, the perfect
But then
dick.
it's like I don't know if I would be attracted to a guy who doesn't have a big dick. Because now I'm just like thinking about like your manhood versus the people I'm used to. It's like
this is where
I start to measure.
You're measuring it based off of probably the wrong things though. So like having a big dick, if you blessed and you got that
I don't think it's good to have a big dick.
It can be because there are some women who really it's the preference, right? So that's why it's important to find somebody who matches like your you happen to be the thing that they prefer is always perfect, right? But it doesn't sound like that's what you prefer. It just sounds like what you got. So like
I think 9 inches is good.
9 or less.
Or well, I don't want that much less. Like I think like
so if you had
9 is cool.
like an 8 and 9, you feel
yeah,
good
but
with
I don't
that.
want you to be smaller. I mean, I don't know. I don't even like
You
men.
like big dick,
but I don't like men even really anymore. See, I don't know. I'm confused. So maybe I just don't
all right,
like
hold
men.
on. Now we got to backtrack because we got a lot to to do
It's
here.
a lot.
Okay. So do you not like men for reasons outside of sex?
Yeah, I don't like men. I mean,
Just
I don't.
The personalities, the characters.
I love men. So I love men outside of relationships. Like I could be friends with men.
Okay,
but
in a relationship,
you have sex with men, I feel like they change every time. Every time.
I think that's people. That's human nature. It's natural because you have to realize, and this is why people when they fuck random people, they don't realize like how that still shifts you a little bit or whatever the case is. Because at the end of the day, there's hormones in place, and hormones drive feelings, right? Whether you want them to or not. So, I mean, people in sex work have had to detach feeling sometimes to be able to do their work, for example. But if you're not in that line of work and you're having sex with people, there's a part of you that's making yourself a little vulnerable to them because if you're a woman, I have to take your dick in me. Like, doesn't get more open than that. Like, then you literally climbing inside me. So you might be taking that part for granted. But what I'm really curious about from what you said, like, okay, outside of friendships, you don't want male partnerships, but clearly there was a point in time where male partnerships was on the table for you.
I used to have that.
So what changed?
Just I guess just meeting horrible men. And then realizing later down the line, like a lot of men think like this, like because when I first was dealing with that kind of person, I'm like, oh, not all men are like this. But then after seeing like so many men talk just on let's just say on podcasts, right? Or just like what's on my time, I'm like, damn, all of you motherfuckers are like this. You know what I mean?
I
or
think
just
that's
like
the mistake though.
Talking to women, to other women, and they all go through fucked up shit with their significant other and had another baby from someone else, or he left her pregnant, or he cheated on her while she was like just all the fucked up shit that happens to women. Or even there's a show on Netflix, like The Worst, like X or some shit. Have you seen that show?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it.
Okay, so it's like, why would I want to put myself in a situation with a man who can like kill me? You know what I mean? Because I'm sure a lot of women have been in situations where you felt your life was in danger. I know I have. You know what I mean? So I don't want to ever be in that situation. And then it's like I just feel sex is like a lot of work. Like sucking dick is a lot of work. Well, it is.
That's why you have to actually love doing it. Yeah. It is. It's the thought. Can we just like?
Yeah, I don't love doing it.
Yes, fucking and sucking is a lot of work.
Too much work.
I'm here. You heard it here first, right? I am literally 13 years in my industry. So I'm telling you, this is a like credential expert. Fucking and sucking takes a lot of work. But that's why you have to actually like it. And you have to like the person you're doing it with.
Right.
And so for you have more than one layer. The sex part is going to be like your last checkbox, to be honest, because you already have mentally attached, not just your experiences, but the experiences of other women you've talked to who shared theirs to this particular gender that has them basically losing more points with you than winning.
I just can't see what's good about them.
Right.
Because when you talk about like, when I saw your video, how you were like, oh, and I blow on it and I feed affirmations, and I'm like, what? She always
comments. She always comments,
Like-
I'm setting a bar too. How will you
Oh
say?
my, yes.
She'll be like, you're
I'm
setting
like,
a bar too.
what's wrong
Why?
with her? Like, she actually likes, you like men?
I love my man.
Yeah, I seen that.
Yeah. I mean, but let's be clear. I've experienced, if you can think of it, it's happened to me too. So all the
Right.
things that you're speaking about with those women, it's happened.
Right.
I didn't choose to allow those guys to have control over whatever was going to happen forward for me. Instead, I had to take my own accountability and say, okay, well, there was something in that guy that attracted me at one point. Maybe I didn't see the other shit. I need to get better at seeing the other shit. So I started having better discernment about like who I chose, where I'm gonna be honest, like the girl before, there was a lot of shit that I wasn't even checking for. And if I had sex with him and the sex hit, it would also make me blind. Like it was literally like a fucking blinder.
It does that.
To a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, so why would I put myself in that situation?
No, you don't put yourself in that situation. You take the fucking blinders off. You take the blinders off so you can really start seeing these guys for what they are.
Only after you've experienced them for real. You can't take the blinders off until you've been in fucked up situation. You're like, oh, okay, well now I know this is bad.
No, you can, because there's certain, I realize there are tells that let you know whether, like, if I get this guy some pussy, for example, if I give this guy some pussy, it's likely going to change how he moves. And it shows up in other areas. Like, for example, if you get with a guy who can't seem to stay with a job for more than a year, he's already shown you he has commitment issues. If he can't commit to his own income, what the fuck are you expecting? That should be a red flag, right?
Mhm.
Don't give him no pussy. Like, honestly, because he's not going to commit to yours. So, like, ask yourself,
That's good.
if you ask the right questions about the rest of their life, if they have children, if they have certain things, like how they're showing up are going to tell you, like, how can I expect you to put more effort into like being any fucking thing for me when you don't show up for your kid? That's your own blood. So I learned, you got to start paying attention to those things, and it kind of lands you in a good place. Like my dude, like his parents have been married for over five decades. So even the worst possible traits in him, he still was raised by two parents who are married for more than 50 years.
Yeah.
So they're still likely going to be way more good than the latter when he's had a more positive example for like, this is what you should be doing, finding someone to like lock in with, buy some property with, do some shit with, it helps that,
But how do you like someone off of their like checklist, right? Oh, okay, well it comes from a good family. He this, but like what about like the actual connection?
Yeah, I don't even use a checklist. I'm just
saying
while
like,
I'm building the connection, I'm listening for the things that let me go, okay.
Oh, so you build off the connection first.
Hell yeah, I'm a Pisces.
So if you don't have a connection, it doesn't matter.
It won't matter. It won't matter. Like I need to feel like I can hold a conversation with you without like breaking shit down Barney style, right? I don't mind having patience, but like I reserve the majority of my patience for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
So, right, it's funny, we were just talking about this. I'm like, my kids are the thing. I don't have an option. Regardless how I'm feeling, I have to have some level of patience with them. You are not someone who I have to have that way. So the first thing I'm measuring is like, how much does this person make me want to be around them? How flow, like when we talk, does it flow? Or do I have to like, are we fucking Googling 50 questions to ask because we just met? Or can we just have a conversation and just like vibe and that conversation go into another? And eventually the problem is, oh shit, I didn't even realize how fucking long we were talking. Those are the kind of problems I want to have when I'm dealing with someone. So I feel like while you're doing that, that's when you guys, the connection is what makes you vulnerable, right? And when I say vulnerable, let me be clear. We don't open up to any fucking body who we feel is an attack. Like, stop opening up to men who you already can feel is an attack. If he's supposed to be your protector, then if he feels like the person you might need to be protected from, let that be a fucking big giant warning, like get the fuck out of Dodge.
Right.
And I'm only saying this because I fucked up.
Me too.
Like, so here's how that looks, right? If I heard one of my exes talk to his mom a certain way, and we were dating for like a couple weeks.
Okay.
But like, that should have been enough for me to be like, yeah, if you're going to get this way with your moms, I'm chopped liver. And younger version of me didn't have that discernment.
Or even if their baby mothers don't like them.
There's something there that you got to find out. Now, I will say this. I have met some unreasonable bitches.
Me too.
So
me too, but most women aren't though. Unless I think they're only unreasonable when they want to be with you.
Yeah.
Still.
That part is there. So that's really, if you're dealing with a guy in that environment, that's what you need to be measuring. One, his attachment to her, right? Is it as an extension of that child's basically, or is it because they're still an extension
But is
of
he
their own
using her
attachment?
as an excuse not to see the bill? She's keeping my kids. Because realistically, nobody could keep your kids away from you. Because you can go to court and get a fucking visitation order and just stick to that order. And if she doesn't stick to the order, then she can get in trouble.
Well, not really. I'm going to say this, right? Yes, she's supposed to get in trouble, but it's not enforced. Like, I've seen family members of mine go through this. Like, literally win the court order, pay for the lawyer, win the case, all this kind of stuff, get mandated visitation. One of my relatives literally would get on travel from the Bronx to Brooklyn every weekend that he had supposed to get his kids.
Mm-hmm.
They had an arrangement where they would pick up at the precinct.
Okay.
And even at the precinct, she would deny to let the kids leave with them. And all the police can do in that instance is make a report that she didn't deny it. Then you have to take those reports, go back to court and show the judge again, oh, this person's not complying. But it's an expensive process and they know that. Like, so all I'm saying is there are guys who use that shit as an excuse, but there are guys who like legitimately are dealing with people who fuck a court order. They don't care. Because it takes a lot before you can potentially be imprisoned or whatever.
Well, not in prison, but I mean, they can take your kids from you, right?
No, they can't. Because if you're not technically endangering the child, then there's no grounds to remove the child from you just because you're denying them to go with someone else. And a lot of moms will lose the case, but then come back and say, I don't feel like my kid's going to be safe. Or they can use any excuse. They even will make the kids say, like, tell them your father tried to hit you or tell them. And so it happens. It happens.
Well,
we can't
but
pretend like
usually
it don't.
it doesn't happen.
I think it's like,
I don't know.
I think it's like if I would give it a ratio 60-40 because both happen. The point is like, if you have a guy who's got a court order who says like, I got a visitation order, she's denying the case X, Y, and Z, he's likely not lying because he went through the processes to get the court order. But if you got a guy who's saying she won't let me see my kids, has never taken the case to court, has never done anything that shows that he's actually trying to get his kids, then likely you can call that bullshit, is what I'm saying. Like, look at the details surrounding the shit they're telling you.
Yeah.
Like,
but if you have multiple baby mothers and they all don't like you, then that's a problem.
Yeah, and that's also a tell, because why do you have multiple baby mothers who don't like you?
Right. Yeah,
Like,
why do all of them feel the
like,
same way?
They can't all be wrong.
Right.
Unless you just have a notion for picking a certain type of woman. But that's also a flag for me, because like, after the first baby mother situation, you didn't do nothing different?
Right.
Like, usually when it's that, they can't all be wrong.
Right.
They can't all be wrong, yeah.
Yeah, because now that I have a kid with a guy that I'm not with, like, I don't think I would ever have another baby father. First of all, I don't want any more kids, but like, God, like if I got to a point where I'm going to have another kid, I would have to be married.
So you believe in marriage?
Yeah. Do I want to be married?
Do you want to be married? No. Okay.
No. I don't want to live with a guy in the same house.
Okay.
I don't mind being married.
If it was a woman?
A woman?
Mm-hmm. Because you don't like men, but I don't think you like women either.
What, in like a I'm not a lesbian.
I can tell the way your face looked when you was like a woman. Like, she doesn't have a dick, but I don't want any dick, but she doesn't have a dick.
You know, I like women, but I don't really care to have sex with them either.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean?
You're turned off from sex, period.
I'm not turned off from sex.
So what do we want?
I don't care about sex at all. I don't want, what do you mean? What do I want as far as what?
You said that you're not turned off from sex, but it's not like you like, as it's like, I don't need sex, I don't need it.
I don't need
no
sex.
one does.
Right. I'm not like off of anything.
But what would make you want it is what I'm trying to find out.
What would make me want it?
Like if someone could come along and change your mind, what the fuck would they have to do?
A lot. Like a lot. But they would have to be a good guy.
Okay. He's a good guy.
He'd have to be a good guy.
Okay. And are you into like guys who do like, you like white collar kind of cut guys? You like blue collar cut guys? You like guys who like,
I don't know what I like.
You don't know?
I don't go out of my way. Yeah, I need a show. I don't go out of my way to like a guy because I don't even like. I don't like the male species. Like,
okay,
I think they're all like fucked up, and I don't know. I shouldn't say that. I do that all the time. I say all, maybe not all, maybe just the ones that I've been around.
Okay, that's a better that makes
So maybe the ones that are like wholesome and come from good families. Like I don't know a lot of those. Maybe because I'm from New York and then I moved to LA. So those are the only really people I've been around.
Well, I wouldn't say like, yeah, geography does dictate some of it, but not all of it. It sounds to me like you actually probably just need to spend a lot of time with yourself, right? Because one of the biggest things that helped me know that the person that I'm dealing with and that I'm with now is, let me not say dealing with, because he'll kill me for shit like that. My man, who I love,
right? Are you married?
We're not married yet.
Okay,
but I think we're gonna get there.
Okay.
But one of the things that gave me like the certainty wasn't actually just him, it was me. Like I've spent a lot of time playing with my own pussy, right? I know how my body reacts to something that feels right, and I know how my body reacts to something that doesn't. And if my body doesn't have that reaction just to be around you, like no sex involved, just talking to you, just like being in your presence, I don't feel that, then it's likely not going to go anywhere. But that only comes from like me. I'm very sure of self. So I feel like you're until you.
But I feel like you like sex.
I do like sex.
Like you're a sexologist. You sit on swings and shit. You
I
blow
sell
on
those products
balls and you get warm towels and all that shit. That's.
But every guy's not getting that.
They're not.
Every guy was not going to get that.
I thought that every guy's got. I'm like, what the fuck?
No, not every guy. Every guy does not get all of.
They don't deserve that.
Hell no. But the reason why I do it is because I have someone who deserves it.
Right.
So like that's the key like denominator. Like if you're looking at the situation, you're gonna meet a bunch of different guys across time while you're trying to potentially find your person, right? But I'm not giving those things to the person who doesn't match my energy. I go and blow his balls or whatever the case, because 90% of the time, he's the one who's getting a warm cloth. He's the one who's cleaning me up or has already ran my bath or already got food for me because he knows I get hungry after, or puts my blanket in the dryer so it's warm. So after sex, he can immediately cover me in a warm blanket. When you have a guy who's going to do that much to
How
make
many
sure
guys
you're
have you
good,
met like that?
There's, I will say in my time, well, I know a lot, actually.
You've been with a lot that treated you
And I don't have
good?
a lot of, like, because there are people who I'm not with today who I wouldn't call bad people. They just weren't a match for me in other areas or whatever. Like you, even if me and you are sexually compatible, and even if I can talk to you to the ends of the world, I still have to like how you show up as a dad. I still have to like how you show up, like how my family, how do you interact in those environments? Personality wise, how do you play off of me? Do you make me want to grow as a person? Like there's still other shit that's important other than how good your dick feels. But I've been with guys who are not bad men, who have not treated me bad or whatever, but there were other circumstances that led to us not being together.
Yeah.
But I've also had as much of the opposite. So like I guess what I'm saying is I'm validating everything you feel. Yeah. Because everything you feel is based off of everything you've experienced to this point, and no one's changed your mind yet. So really what you need to figure out is what would change your mind, because that's the question you don't really have.
But they say that 50% of women are single right now.
I can see that.
And what I've seen more and more now, because you know how guys are like, oh, well, you're going to be alone with cats. And I've said, I don't care if that happens to me. And so I've seen a lot of other women say like, we want money so we can be free of men. Like, you know what I mean? Like men want money so they can get a woman, and women want money so we can be free of men and just do our own thing and live our lives.
That's the reason why women don't feel the need for men now already, especially like Black women. It's even more. But it can be true for most women. Like if you they talk about this, but like specifically for Black women more, but this was a rule across the board. It was just enforced more in Black households.
Okay.
Let me say that. But like at one point, some odd 40, 50 years, we're not that far removed from it. It literally was a requirement that you couldn't get like certain benefits if you had a guy in the household, right?
Yeah.
So what does that say? If I want this extra money from the government, then I got to get rid of that nigga, right? Or got to get rid of that man. So by design, they said, we'll give you money if you get rid of the dude. So I'm not surprised that women feel like we want money so we can get rid of the dude. It's already been in place for a long time.
Well, not because of that, just because women feel like we're slaves to men. In a lot of ways, like we're raising your kids, we're making sure you're good sexually, we're making your food, like we're serving you, and then all you do is just work and pay the bills, but you still have your life, but we don't have our lives
that's
anymore.
when you have I'm not going to disagree with you on a part of what you said, right? Because sometimes over the years, because I'm not with my son's dad, that's been the co-parenting hassle that I deal with the brunt of all the shit, right?
Most women do, right?
And most of it, yeah. So I don't disagree with you there. But what I will say is not every guy is only the go to work and not help out anywhere else guy. And so the question becomes this. It's a two-part end of it. There's an accountability on their end to be the kind of guys who realize that that's not enough. Especially like today, just going to work and coming home is not enough. If you're not going to hands-on help with certain things, then you should be making enough money to put someone in place to do so. But if you do not have the means to hire the housekeeper, then you need to help me housekeep. Right? If you do not have the means to hire a nanny, then you need to help me with your child and be in raising the kids. Like, I can be reasonable, right? Because I'm perfectly fine if you send a housekeeper, right? If that's what the answer is for you. It alleviates me and alleviates you. We can both be fucking happy and do whatever we want. But I'm not okay with you not being in a position to make that sort of move and then still expecting that I'm going to be the only one to carry that load. That's where the problems come into play, because I don't think that's practical in this day and age anymore. No. The way shit costs right now,
it's crazy.
Everybody got to be doing something. Like we're not in a time where unless your bank account is in a certain, tax bracket, everybody in that household needs to be doing whatever the fuck they can. So I'm not going to fulfill your roles of like going and getting the money in X, Y, and Z and not still expecting some meeting. So like in my household, I love to cook. I actually enjoy it, but I don't like dealing with the dishes. I don't like those parts of it. I clean while I'm cooking, but my man will wash the dishes to keep the sink clear because he knows if there's dishes in the sink, I'm not going to cook. So that's what I mean. You have to figure out what that looks like. The problem that I find is that most people haven't figured out how they're going to divide the responsibilities, what their expectations are of each other. They don't talk about it up front. And then later on, they're surprised when a person isn't meeting their expectations. Well, that's on you kind of in part because you should have fucking said what they were like up front.
Yeah, it's so hard to live with someone.
It is.
Oh my God. How do you do it?
I will say this. It's not easy living with people, period.
In general, yeah, people. Not even just even a roommate is hard to deal with.
It's hard.
Yes.
It's hard. But that's what, so like I am a communicator.
How do you balance like your kids and then your man and like showing enough love to everybody? It's just so much.
What I use, and it's going to sound like, super psychology, whatever, but I'm going to be honest because this is what I use and what works, right? I do this thing with myself called the Wheel of Life, right? So like I look at all of the key areas of life that typically lead to like a person feeling fulfilled, whatever.
Okay.
Right? So we're talking about money and career. Money and career is two separate ones though. Right? Because money is like not just like what you have on hand. It's also like how much money do you have in investments and savings and preparing for the future and all that shit. So where's your money at? Where's your career at is more so the direction of your career growth. Whatever it is that you're evolving or doing or deciding you want to do. But then I have my spiritual growth and spiritual and personal growth. I have family and friends. I have my significant other. I have my health as one area, and then just fun and recreation. So it's like 8 areas. Every month, at the beginning of the month, I just really quickly go through each area and I give it a score on a scale of 1 to 10.
Are you a Virgo?
I'm a Pisces.
Oh, you said that like third. Okay.
But that's my shadow sign. I'm just a nerd.
Okay.
But
you sit there and do that?
It takes 5 minutes.
Okay.
Right? So literally I go, like, let's just say this right now. Fuck it. Humor me.
Okay.
If you could rank on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to just throw an area out and you just tell me what your score is.
Okay.
What would you rank your health right now? And mental, physical, all of it.
Mental, physical, all of it?
Yeah, like where's your health score on a scale of 1 to 10?
Fuck. Like, no.
None. You would give
No, I wouldn't give myself a 0. I'll give myself like a 4.
A 4. That's fair. Okay, fun and recreation. How much fun are you having right now?
Fun?
Yeah.
We're having fun right now. This is my fun.
This is your fun.
Yes.
But this is work, so we can't include it.
Okay, so 0.
0. Okay, significant other. We already know that that's
0.
an area. Right? So if you don't have a significant other, I always say...
But I do have a significant... I have multiple significant others.
You have multiple significant others. But, I mean, so would you say at this point, what score of content are you
like I'm emotionally fulfilled? Is that
okay, that matters. So I would give that a better score.
Right. Because all I need is like to talk to me. I don't need physical. Like
Okay.
I'm good with you like
Stimulate my mind.
stimulating my mind. I'm
Okay,
cool
so
with
but
that.
you
And
have
I
a few people who
and
are
I
doing
have a
that.
few people who do that.
Okay, so that's a higher score. Give me a better number
For what?
for a significant other. It doesn't have to be black and white. Yeah.
Okay, 5.
Okay, I'll give that.
Okay.
Family and friends. That includes your kid.
My kid?
Your kid, your family, like where you at with them, how you feel.
This is gonna be bad. This is bad.
It's okay.
All of it is bad. So I only out of my family, like I don't want to put my kid and my family together, even though he is my own.
He's your first family.
Right. So me and him are good.
Okay.
But it's stressful being a mom.
Okay.
So let's say it's 6.
A 6. That's very fair.
Okay.
All right. The last one, career. Oh, not last one, career, but we're almost close to the last one.
Career?
Career. Where's your career score?
Like a 7.
Okay. So career, money.
Money could be better.
It could be better, but it's not the worst.
No, it's not the worst.
Okay.
I don't know how to measure money because like I can only measure it from the highest.
Okay, let's put it like this.
I don't know how to measure money.
Right now, do you feel confident that your bills for the next 3 months will be paid?
Yeah.
Money's not in a bad place then. So let's give it a decent, like this. That sounds like 7, 8-ish.
Okay.
The average person has to worry paycheck to paycheck. You know what I mean? About
right, I don't
whether or
have
not.
that.
Okay, so your money situation is pretty decent. The last area that I need to ask you is personal growth, spirituality. Like just remove everybody else. Your me time, your you time, the time to just be with L.
Right.
Where do you rank that?
My spirituality?
Mm-hmm. Like how much time have you had to just be alone with you and just feel into you?
Not enough. Like let's say 5.
Okay. So from what I'm gathering though, the 4, the 5, and the 1 that was damn near 0 are the areas which would be your lowest though, right? So when you ask me the question of how I balance it, I do this same thing and I write down the score. I take the 3 lowest areas and I say, what is something I can do this week to change that number? And what is something I can do by the end of this month to make the number even bigger? I only deal with those 3 areas because everything else is good enough right now. So if let's just like right now I'm working mad hard, so I haven't spent that much time with my kids. My kids might be a low score next month. So I'm like, okay, what can I do this week? I can watch a movie tonight with my son, whatever, check. And then by the end of the month, we can go to like a park or I can take him to you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Something that I can do to feel by the end of that month, I've spent some time with my kid. Whatever area it is fucked up.
I like that wheel.
That's it. And so I because it's unrealistic to think every fucking thing is going to always get attention. It's not. It's like, and that's what makes us always feel like we're never doing enough. No, I just want to feel like, okay, fun and recreation. I haven't really had fun. Okay.
What do you do for fun?
I like to dance.
Movie?
Like,
dance.
I like to dance. So if I can shake my ass, that's good. If I will sit in my bathroom and karaoke in my headphones.
I saw that you make videos of like dancing, and you look like you're having a blast.
That's all. Like I can dance, and I had fun this week. I can go out. I like to go out to places that have good food or drinks. So that could be a thing that's like fun for me.
Okay.
It's like a variety. I like to travel. So if I wanted to be like, yo, you haven't had no fun at all this week, I'm gonna karaoke. I'm gonna something. I'm gonna take an edible and I'm gonna get like whatever.
Yeah.
By the end of the month, I'll pick a bigger something, like maybe something I really love doing that I just haven't done in a long time. And be like, you know what? I'm gonna go like going to the spa could be fun.
Spa's
for me.
amazing.
Yeah, I love the spa. So
yes.
I'm like, you know what? This week I'm gonna do this, but before this month is out, I'm gonna go get a massage. That could be it. So
right.
And I feel like because I
do this every week?
Every month.
Every month.
Every month.
Okay.
So every month, 3 things that are not doing well get touched. Okay. And so next month, those 3 things are going to be better. 3 other things are going to be worse. And I just only deal with that.
You just try to balance. I love that.
By the end of the year, everything gets touched a few times.
Yes, I love that. Mm-hmm. And I wish that I can talk to you longer because we have to unfortunately wrap up, and I'm so sad about that because I love you.
I love you too. When I tell you this, let me give you this though. Okay. I think when a lot of people come across your platform, I've been watching clips, I've been watching commenters. I know the internet is full of like a lot of negative shit.
Yeah.
And it also gets the numbers, right?
Right.
But one thing I want to encourage you to do is never change it, because the thing that they hate is actually the same thing that has drawn them into you. Right. And they don't even realize it.
Right.
a lot of people are doing all the antics, all the extra shit, and it bothers people. I notice how much you don't. Like, sometimes they're annoyed with your lack of wanting to like pander.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, you can say whatever the fuck you said. You can feel like I didn't say this. You didn't feel like I say this, but I said what the fuck I felt.
Yeah, I mean, I just say my truth, you know.
Exactly.
You don't all
change
have
it.
to feel like that, but it's just how I feel, you know.
Don't change it. And whether you like it or not, people have to start becoming more okay with knowing you can't change other people's minds.
Right.
But I want to say that the thing that they can't stand, I notice is the same thing they keep coming back for.
Yeah.
So
Thank you. I appreciate
don't
that.
shift that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And same to you. I think you're so like versatile. Like I said, I've seen you in so many different ways, and I'm like, wow, this person has so many more layers than I could see like on, let's say, one platform than another.
1,000%.
And I feel like I would love to dig deeper into it. I would love to have a part 2.
Yeah, I think we can do that, and also maybe you come and onto one of my platforms and chill with me too.
Sure.
Yeah, but you're right. I think who you show up as is not to say that they're not all you. But
yeah, but it also, you know, you when you have so many co-hosts, you also balance off their energy. So sometimes, you know, if there's a louder person in the room, maybe like the conversation just shifts to what they relate to. You know what I mean? Or like, you know, if you're dealing with,
play off of
with men, like you can't always talk about what you would talk about with just women. You know what I mean? So but I feel like there's so many things I want to talk to you about. So I would love to, like I said, do a part 2 next time.
Absolutely.
And maybe have like a longer...
You gave me a new goal.
What?
Because my goal, there was a lot of I don't knows in this conversation, and I feel like I don't love that. So we got to talk outside of this.
Okay.
To figure out how to fucking put some no's to some of those I don't knows.
Okay.
Right.
It's a deal.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for watching. Yay. And we'll see you next time.
Absolutely.